Imagine coming home to the sounds of screaming and crying and chaos. And as you get closer, you see your family being drugged from your house by a group of strangers who have taken them hostage. Now, this may sound like a work of fiction or something from a movie, but according to the Cuyahoga Falls Historical Society, this was indeed a true event. Mary Campbell was kidnapped from her home along with others in 1758 by a group of Indians who took Mary Campbell and the others through miles of wilderness back to their camp. During this trek, if you could not keep pace with them, you were killed. Now, Mary was held in captivity for 6 years before the Indians finally released her back into society. Now, after being released, imagine how you would feel. I think most of us would feel anger and hatred for what had been done to us and those closest to us. But I would like to ask you this question. Can building an understanding of others reduce violence? Now, every story has two sides. The Indians had, in the mid to late 1700s, had been very prosperous. Their numbers were as high as 20,000. However, due to war between tribes, epidemics from European diseases, and losses of land, that 20,000 was quickly reduced in only 100 years to 4,000. Now imagine how the Indians must have felt during this time. Losses of land and broken promises became an everyday occurrence. They could not trust the settlers. The only thing that the Indians and the settlers had in common was their hatred for one another. Now, healing only started when both sides finally began to listen to one another. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow once said that if we could read the secret history of our enemies, we would find in each man's life sorrow and suffering enough to disarm all hostility. According to the University of Kentucky's Department of Psychology, empathetic people are less aggressive. This answers the question, can empathy reduce violence? So, before passing any judgment or becoming aggressive, both sides need to try and understand one another on a personal level. And I'd like to think that if we tried to understand our enemies, and even today, could we not reduce hostility between each other? Thank you.